All right, welcome to the Master Lease Options video. This is material taken from my book, Creative Cash. So if you don't have that, definitely go check it out. Master Lease Options is a really interesting structure that we can use in creative financing to get deals done without actually having to use a loan or traditional financing in which to take possession of the asset. In this video, I'm going to give you the basics. The next two videos, I'm going to go into more depth. So master lease option is a rent to own scenario. If you've ever heard of a lease option, that's actually the same thing. We call it master lease option when we're talking about multiple units. If it's just one unit, like a house, that's just lease option, right? Basically the same thing. It's a rent to own. So we're going to start off, we're going to go in and we're going to have two contracts, the master lease and the option to purchase. So we're going to start off there. We have two separate contracts. All right. These two contracts come together to create the master lease option. And the idea with the master lease option is that I'm going to go in and find a property or a seller that for some reason is distressed, and that my offer is going to solve problems for them. And we'll call that the SPY technique, but that'll be coming up in the next video. So check that out. All right, so we're going to go in, we're going to use this SPY technique, and we're going to create value for a seller with a master lease option offer. All right. So what kind of value would we be creating for a seller? Well, they could be burned out. They could be tired of dealing with the property. Maybe they don't have enough cash to actually fix the property up. Maybe it's in disrepair. Maybe the rents are below market. There's lots of reasons that a seller might become a motivated seller or a distressed seller, let's call them. And so you come along and you identify the property and you look at it and you do the underwriting and you say, gosh, if I could just borrow this property, I could go in and do X, Y, Z and fix it. And then the property would be worth a lot more. And then I could probably go to the bank and get a mortgage on it and put some money down. Maybe I could get some investors and the deal would work. But as it stands right now, because of rent, repairs, whatever the distress may be, I can't go over to the bank and get a loan. When I go over to the bank and talk about a loan, they talk about a huge down payment, right? And I don't want to put down this giant down payment on this seller's distressed asset that they distressed. It wasn't even my fault, right? And now they want a huge price on a property that's distressed and not making money. Sound familiar? Well, this is common in the market, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to identify an asset that for some reason could be fixed, could be corrected through maybe bad operations, maybe raising the rents, maybe stabilizing, rent or collections or something like that. You're going to identify a property that can be solved through its operations. All right. Now you're going to make a master lease option offer. And what that is you're going to come in and offer to rent the property for a certain amount of time with the right to buy it in the future. All right. And that's the two contracts, the master lease and the option. So in our master lease contract, and again, they're all one collective document. They're just split into two. So you're not making two different offers, by the way. So the master lease, that's going to give you the right to rent the property with the right to sublet the units to the tenants. All right. So that effectively makes you management. That effectively makes you the owner in charge, right? So you're now rented, let's say, this 100-unit apartment complex. I rented it from my good friend Gino here, and he's burned out landlord. I'm taking over the operations. Okay, now I'm going to make him a mortgage payment every month a rent payment, not a mortgage payment. I want to make a rent payment to the seller every single month. That's going to allow me to operate, collect the cash flow, pay the mortgage, pay the bills, improve the operations. And with the master lease, I'm going to control cash flow, right? And that's why we would do that. But why would I go in here and rent this property from this seller and do all this work and make the property operate better and all this kind of stuff just to have him sell it in the future at that great price, right? We're not, and that's the option to purchase. So I'm going to go in day one with my seller Gino here, and I'm going to negotiate a purchase price. So let's just say $1 million. I'm going to pick a price, $1 million, and now I'm going to set a time frame in which I have to close the deal. It's going to be our option window or option time frame. So now I've said, okay, Gino, I'm going to rent the property from you. I'm going to make a rent payment to you every single month, and I now have the right to buy this property between now and, let's say, 3 years from now. Just made up number. But I'm going to go in under this. I'm going to renovate, do my work, get the property up, stabilize, operate, collect the rent. The value has now gone up. I can pull out my option to purchase, go to the seller. It's like a coupon, turn it in and say, okay, now I'm ready to actually buy the property. It is worth $3 million. Let's just say round numbers. I made I'm really good at lease options. So the value went way up. $3 million property now, and I'm buying it for $1 million. All right. Couple of quick notes in here. That is not going to be a refinance. So if I have an option with the seller at $1 million and now I've made the property worth $3 million and I go to exercise the right to buy the property, okay, I am not going to be able to go to the bank and say, hey, look, it's $3 million. Let me walk away with an extra $1 million in cash out. It's not going to work that way because you've been a renter all along. You're not an owner. That would be seller financing. Again, we'll cover that in this topic, in this book here. But with a master lease option, you're just a renter. So you're going to still be purchasing the property initial sale at $1 million. You're probably still going to have to put down a little bit. But look on the right side. You're buying a property for $1 million. That's now worth $3 million. All right. So that's the basics on master lease option. I'm going to kind of cover that in a few other videos. We're going to unpack that and go into some detail. But that's generally speaking, master lease option. Quick review. It is a contract that's going to allow me to rent a property from someone with the right to buy it someday in the future at a price that I pick today, that we agree on today. And then I'm under this management contract, I'm going to go in, stabilize, operate the property, bring the value up, exercise my option, and there I have a good deal. Master lease options.